A story that's moving quite quickly. You can be forgiven if you're feeling a little confused because even some of the experts are. Well, here's some of the headlines related to them. Germany's finance minister is demanding clarity from Athens over what it wants. It says there is no serious basis for fresh discussions. An investment fund has suspended one of its funds with nearly $50 million in Greece. Horizon Capital said it was unable to fully assess the value of its Greek holdings. That's not good. And Russia has said there is no request from Greece for financial aid. The Kremlin had previously indicated it might consider giving Athens a little support. So we don't know. There's a lot of question marks. For more answers, I spoke to MIT professor Athanasios Orphanides. He is a former governor of the Central Bank of Cyprus and former member of the Governing Council of the European Central Bank. And we talked about if Greece and EU officials can actually trust one another again after this latest failure.
The Tsipras government had a big opportunity 6 months ago when they won. They were a fresh party. If they were honest about saving the country, they would have negotiated in good faith. They would have continued with structural reforms that the country needed, and by now there would have been a solution. That is, if they were an honest party. Unfortunately, they've done exactly the opposite. So the last 6 months, they've spent 6 months not negotiating in good faith, undoing some of the structural reforms and measures that Greece needed that were implemented by the previous government. And right now they have a situation where the country is bankrupt and they're asking for more money without having really any allies anywhere in Europe to help them out. Now you're right. It's very difficult to see that no matter what happens with the referendum, that next week this government would be able to serve the interest of Greece. I think this government can no longer serve the interest of the country.
I don't want to speculate too much on the future of the government in Greece, but what I do want to speculate is this referendum that's going to take place on the 5th. There is a possible no vote, and there is a possible yes vote. Share with us, look, we're not experts in any of this. What does a no vote mean, and what does a yes vote mean?
Let's take the government scenario. So again, Prime Minister Tsipras is telling the Greek people, say no to what Europe has been asking us to do, and we will use your mandate to go and get a better deal without tough measures. So we're going to go and demand that the Germans and others give us more money to spend, and we will just stay easy and not have hard measures to take. That's what they're telling us. Of course, that's a lie. You cannot do that. This is why the concern by those who are more reasonable people in Greece is that a no vote really effectively is going to force the country out of the euro, which is going to be a nightmare scenario for the country. That's the concern. But you see, even that one, the government presents it in one way, not honestly, and others are saying, well, you know what, this is like getting out of the euro and perhaps even out of the European Union. What does a yes vote do? A yes vote says that the Greek people realize that they actually need additional, very tough measures in order to stabilize the country, that they recognize that. And what does it do? Would it then accept the Tsipras government that has been arguing against that as its representative to negotiate with the governments of Europe? A yes vote really is going to be the end, de facto the end of the Tsipras government, and it's going to create additional political uncertainty going forward. This is why the referendum, regardless of whether it's a yes or a no at the referendum, it was a bad thing to call, and it will lead to more uncertainty and more trouble for the economy. There are really no good outcomes for Greece right now.
Very quickly, sir, before I let you go, does a yes vote mean, or even a no vote mean, that the banks actually open up again? I mean, obviously, these are the folks that are suffering the most. They don't have access to their money. They can't conduct sort of a normal economy that you and I are used to. Does a yes vote mean that?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you my assessment of this one. The situation in the banking system right now is dire because the banks have run out of collateral to post with the European Central Bank, so they cannot get more liquidity. A no vote means guaranteed trouble, and I cannot see the banks opening with a no vote for quite some time. A yes vote does create the potential for a quick deal with the institutions, which still might take a couple of weeks, after which there could be a return to some form of normalcy. But even that is going to be worse than where the country was a week ago. So if you want to open the banks, it's going to be a while. But the yes vote is the vote that will actually maximize the chances that would happen.